computer. All right, y'all are on camera now. All right, Marjan, don't offend me, bro. Andrew, what's up? Lincoln, what's up? Josh, what's up? Tim, what's up? Who else we got in the house? That's it. Okay, anybody else? Let me pull it up my phone, and then we're gonna get going. I appreciate you guys being on. I don't even know if I have Facebook on my phone right now. Of course I don't. Let me let it download. Okay, I got some housekeeping. I got some stuff I want to talk about. I got to share some stuff out of this. This is gonna be good. Shannon, what's going on? AJ, what's up? Guys, give me just a moment. I can see who's on. I'm going to pull it up on my phone so I can actually see. David Stevens says, this shirt is like my grandma's tablecloth. That is exactly what it is, dude. And I am proud of it. In fact, I actually had this made by my grandma. It was my grandma's old tablecloth, actually. Funny you say that. R.I.P. Grammy. R.I.P. Miranda Torres, Vinny, Irene, we got a crowd in here. As soon as my Facebook thing downloads, we're gonna rock and roll. Okay, we are gonna rock and roll. I just don't want to get going and not be able to. Now I can't stop once I get going. So I'm glad you guys are on. I appreciate you guys being on. As always, this isn't like I just show up to this shit unprepared. This is gonna be worth your time. Okay, I promise you, this is gonna be worth your time. Stay till the end because we're gonna be giving away a 30-minute coaching call. For one lucky winner. Hopefully I can pick somebody that's actually on for once on the first try. Okay, here we go. Let's do this. Stay till the end because we're going to be giving away. Damn, who's that sexy guy? Who's that sexy voice talking, man? Shit. Okay. Let's do this. Guys, tag somebody. If they're not on, they need to be on. I love having a big crowd. Let me get my cord over here. I got this thing charging. I got a mess going on. All right, let's do this. So, Shannon just said, is it a Boston Red Sox hat? Yes, it is. I am not a baseball fan at all, but the hat was dope. Black on black. Got it. Couldn't tell you one player that plays on the team, but I wear the hat. So there we have it. Guys, a couple of quick housekeeping items. Every single week on Sunday morning, I plan my week. And we've talked about this. I've had a live stream on how I plan my week. And this week was no different. Lo and behold, Sunday morning, I woke up, I got my planning done first thing in the morning, okay, for the entire week. And as we talked about, and by the way, for those of you that haven't seen that live, it is called Cocaine, Marijuana, and Money Laundering. That is the name of the live. Yes, I know you are in a wholesome group. You're welcome. Go watch that. That is talking about how we plan our day, how we focus on the things that are effective and how we do them efficiently. And the reason I'm telling you this is one of the things that has just been something that has needed to get done, but there's been a few missing pieces. There's been something that I have to do that's like going to take a ton of time, or this happened or that happened, etc. Is getting out version 2.0 of the training. And many of you guys, as you know, I've told you guys, any version that we come out with, 2.0 till infinity 0.0, you guys get for free. Part of me has been a little bit hesitant to even focus that much on it because we have everything in the group here. So I haven't had to worry with people stealing my content, people sharing passwords, and on and on and on. And by the way, just so you guys know, I'm not stupid. I've had, there's a big difference between somebody that's your partner and somebody that you guys are going to do a project together and you guys want me to let them in the group because they're cheap ass and don't want to pay for it. Okay. Like, I'm fair, but I'm not a fucking idiot. Okay. So let's just clear that up. It's probably not who some of you guys might be thinking it's you, because I know some of you that are actually asking, being sincere, and some of you guys that are trying to finagle some bullshit, and it ain't going to fly. Okay. Just so you know. So I've been a little hesitant because I know that comes with the territory. I know stuff gets ripped off and all the rest, but I do want you guys to have 2.0. I want this thing to be freaking gangster shit. Like, I'm talking really, really clean, fun to watch, enjoyable, digestible videos. And that is what we are creating. So Sunday, I sat down and I was like, what do I need to do? And I was like, you know what? I have to get this done. This is number one priority. I don't give a shit if I make $1 this month. Of course I do, right? But like, that is priority one of everything. So what I do is I list all the shit I need to do, and I go and find the top 3 things that I need to get done that are going to move the needle. And those are what I got to get done to make sure the week is successful. So one of those things was making sure that we push out and finish up version 2.0. So I will tell you, I am already exhausted. It's Tuesday. I've been filming all morning, and it's going to be, I just want to tease this shit. This thing is going to be sexy. Okay. I got the lights. I mean, I already look sexy, but now we got the lights. We got a little editing going on. We got a little whoosh, 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 little music, intro, outro. We got the legit camera, not the iMac bullshit. Guys, this thing is going to slap you in the face. So get ready. The goal is that I have everything shot by next Wednesday, and we're pushing it with everything that we have, that by the end of next week, we're done. So the following Monday, this sucker is released to all of you guys. You will not pay a dime, and it's going to be gangster. Okay. And as of right now, we're using a platform called Kajabi. It's expensive as shit compared to the rest of them, but I wanted the best. And that's what we're going to fucking do. Okay. So just so you guys know, that is no longer like whatever it's going to happen. I've been shooting all morning. I am absolutely tired. Got up at 6, took a shower, shot videos, went to the gym, came back, shot videos, battery died, reshot some videos, sent them to the editor. He's editing them right now, doing the same thing tomorrow, doing the same thing the next day, the next day, the next day, the next day. So I might need some fucking Adderall and cocaine, baby. Let's go. So let's talk right now. I want to let you guys know, I have been off of, this ties into what we're talking about today. I have been off of caffeine. Today is a 1 month mark. Okay. I've been off caffeine. For those of you that are new, a month ago, I was drinking Monsters. I was drinking more Monster energy drinks than I was drinking water. I was having, my ratio was more energy drinks, like my father-in-law. He drinks more soda. I don't even think he drinks water. Okay. And it was bad. I was falling asleep at night. I was being a dick to my kids. I didn't have any energy. I sure wasn't feeling like this unless I cracked the Monster right before. And then immediately after the call, I would be exhausted. And I realized after listening to Jack Harlow's interview where he talks about like he gave up alcohol, I'm like, shit, if homie can give up alcohol when he's in that space, I can give up Monster energy drinks. Well, my energy drinks in general. And guys, I'm not telling you that to like say you need to do it. I'm telling you that because that was something that was like a vice for me. And I feel so freaking good right now. And by the way, just so you know, last night I went to bed at 1 o'clock. I woke up at 6. Not going to do that every night, but I cannot believe how good I feel being off of that shit. And I know. I'll say this right now. And then in a week, you're going to be like, bro, you're drinking a Monster. I know, I'm human. Okay. But I'm just telling you, if there are things standing in your way of hitting these, these BHAGs that you have, which we're going to talk about today, is it worth it? Is it worth, I started thinking, is it worth having 2 energy drinks a day? That's probably going to kill my ass anyway. Or do I get rid of that shit and it gives me that edge on everybody else to hit those freaking huge targets that I set? So I just want you to ask yourself, are there things in your life, and we've talked about this again and again, are there things in your life that you're doing that you need to stop doing? Maybe it's something you're consuming. Maybe it's a habit that's shitty. I don't care. I'm not talking about crazy stuff. It could be crazy, but I'm not talking about the crazy stuff. Maybe it's something small. Maybe it's some bullshit TV show you're spending 2-3 hours a night watching. Maybe you need to give it up and you need to read. I don't know. You're the only one that knows. But I'm telling you right now that this is one of the best decisions I've made. There is no way I could have had the day I've had so far and had the energy I have right now if I hadn't gotten off of that damn freaking energy drink stuff. And I love it. This is not something I do casually. I go all in on my energy drinks. Guys, I got my favorite flavors, the whole deal. So I just want to let you guys know that just a reminder. Okay. That's it. So, today, here's the deal. I've had a lot of thoughts lately on a specific topic, and I want to share it today. And it's something that we've talked about briefly in the past, but I think it's worth talking about again for the new people and for those of you that were on as well, because this is something that, like, I look at all the things I'm going through. I'm in the same boat as you guys. I'm just maybe at a little bit different level. And some of you guys, like, I hope you catch me. I genuinely hope that you catch me, because then I can look back and say, hey, I had something to do with that. So, like, by all means, catch me, except for Borhan. I don't want his ugly ass to catch me, because then he's going to talk shit. But other than him, I'm just kidding, bro. I don't even know if you're on here, but other than him, I want everybody to catch me. Like, I have no problems with that. That means I did a good job. That means I trained you well, right? But one of the things that I've really been thinking about and just kind of like contemplating is this concept of your standards. Okay. And I know you guys like, oh, I'm getting off, boring. No, listen. Okay. Let's talk about standards for a second. And I heard, by the way, I'm not an Ed Milet fan. He's too much like hugging and yeah, brother. And, everyone's, he's too nice. Like, I feel like sometimes it's fake. I'm not a huge Ed Milet fan, but for whatever reason, this past week, I stumbled across this video that he did because he just came out with a new book. And man, he freaking crushed it on this video. I even sent it to somebody in this group. I was like, bro, you got to check this out. And one of the things that he said that I've heard 1,000 times, and maybe you've heard this 1,000 times, but I really need you to think about this and I need you to internalize what I'm about to say. Okay. Oh, and this is it. Over time, we don't necessarily hit our goals. Okay. We don't always hit our goals. In fact, most of the time we don't hit our goals. Okay. However, you know what we do hit? You know what we do get? I wouldn't even say hit. You know what we get? Not our goals, but we get our standards. Okay. And I want you to really, really think about that. When something is a standard, it is who we are. It's no longer a goal. It's no longer, hey, my goal is to make $10,000 a month. It's no, I make $10,000 a month. That is the standard. And I have to make that. That is a subtle difference, but it's a massive difference. Okay. So I'm going to give you some examples, okay, about when something is a standard, and you guys probably have these same standards or some of them yourself. Okay. Number one. Okay. Just quick example. Brushing my teeth is not a goal of mine. When I was little, maybe it was, maybe it's like, I'm going to brush my teeth twice a day. Guys, that is a standard because I don't want my teeth gone. I don't want some nasty ass teeth. So I brush my teeth twice a day, standard. I don't care where I'm at. I don't care if I'm at a hotel, it's 11 o'clock at night. I'm going down to the lobby. I'm asking for toothpaste and toothbrush, or I'm getting a DoorDash or Uber Eats or whatever to bring me toothbrush. I don't care what it costs. I'm not going to bed without brushing my teeth twice or waking up and doing it. Okay. It is a standard, period. It's who I am. Okay. Another example. For me, it's not a goal anymore for me to go to the gym. Okay. And by the way, I don't expect you guys to have these exact same standards. These are standards for me. It is no longer a goal for me. When I was 17, it was a goal. When I was 16, it was a goal. I've been doing this since I was literally 16 or 17. I have gone to the gym 6 days a week. When I lived in Africa, I was raising like fucking rocks and concrete and stuff. Like I was doing it every day. I bet you since I was 17, I have missed going to the gym on a weekday. I don't do it on Sundays. Okay. I take that day off. I bet you I have missed working out total days in, let's say 14 years. I shit you not. There's less than 30 days in the past 14 years that I have missed working out, period. Whether I had to run, whether I had to raise something, whether I had to do abs, whatever, it's a standard. It's who I am. Okay. It's become a standard, period. Okay. And some of you guys, it's not a standard, and that's okay. We're talking about money here, not necessarily health today. Okay. Another example. It used to be a goal. And I was like, yo, if I could just ask, my goal is I got to ask somebody for money. I got to make the ask. I got to make the offer every day. Okay. I got to make the offer every day to ask somebody for money. That was my goal. At the beginning of 2020, it was a goal to ask somebody for money. And guess what? That has now become a standard. If I don't ask somebody for money, there is something, my day is shit. It is gone. And I'll take you one step further. That, by the way, asking somebody for money every single day has become who I am. By the way, I know my internet's like doing a little whatever, just deal with it. I got to get something figured out. I'm going to be moving offices to my garage, but just deal with it. Don't bitch about it. Sorry. Okay. I'm going to go a step further. Asking for money every day is a standard. Okay. Asking. But now I've gotten to the point where I've made money so many days in a row. If I don't make money, if I don't bring new money into my business every single day, I'm freaking out. You guys remember me saying, my wife, she confronted me the other day. We were talking, having one of those, like, come to Jesus, Matt chats, you're not present, whatever. And she's like, dude, you got something wrong with you. She's like, you told me when we went to Mexico that, and she's like, and I quote, if I don't make money before we leave, my day is shit. That's what I told her. Guys, it is not a goal for me to make money anymore. It is now a standard. That is the difference. It is who I am. Okay. Back in 2019, at the very end, my goal was I want to make $100,000 per month. That was my goal. And guys, I'm telling you right now, that is now who I am. I will never watch my lips. I will never, ever, ever in my entire life make less than $100,000 a month ever again, because it has become who I am. It is now a standard for me. It has fundamentally changed literally everything about me and who I am. Okay. So this is what's crazy, guys. This game is really fucking easy. It's very, let me rephrase that. It's very simple. Okay. It's very simple. It's very black and white. Okay. All you have to do is we have to raise our standards. That's it. That is it. And I know you're like, oh shit, that's some good advice, but think about it. Think about it. There is something in your life right now that is a standard that you do not miss. Some of you guys might be like a journal diary person and you never miss. Some of you guys might be like, yo, I go to church every Sunday, no matter what. Like I'm at church. I know some of you guys are those type of people. I will never miss. Doesn't matter if I'm in freaking Hawaii or this or that. Sunday, I'm going to church. It's a standard. It's who you are, right? Why are we not doing the same thing with our businesses? Why are we not doing the same thing with our goals? And the reason I put fuck your goals in this thing is fuck your goals. Okay. Start making these your standards. Stop saying, I'm going to hit this. And guys, I've been going through the same freaking shit the last week as I'm talking about right now. Okay. And I want to show you guys something. So give me 1 second. I want to show you guys something. Okay. You guys see this? I hope you guys can see this. This is, by the way, I am a absolute sucker for leather notebooks, planners. I mean, dude, I'll buy this shit every time I see it. Pick this baby up at TJ Maxx. Got the like world, kind of dope. Also made in Italy, which is kind of cool. I don't know. Whenever I see the world, you guys, I've got like a bunch of world globes. I love travel. It's fascinating to me. Anyway, beside the point. But as I've been stewing over this like whole concept of like this standards thing, I'm like, dude, Nick, look at this. You keep talking about your goal. You keep talking about how you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. Your goal is this, whatever, right? And you keep saying to everyone in here, you're gonna make $1 million in a month. You keep saying that, okay? Well, guess what, guys? It's the middle of June. It's the middle of June, and I haven't hit it yet. And I'm like, this week I started to realize I'm like, I gotta change some shit, because if I keep on this path, yeah, I'm gonna make a fuckload of money, but I'm not gonna hit $1 million a month. And right now it's just, well, until this last week, it's been a goal. And I know I'm going to hit it, but I'm no longer thinking about it as a goal. I'm sitting here and trying to put in my brain, like, that is now a standard. How do I make it so that making $1 million a month is a standard? And so what I've done is I've literally taken this little cute notebook, beautiful, by the way. And this is my $1 million per month notebook. And I carry it everywhere now as of yesterday. Okay. I've created this notebook, and in it, I have every single thought that comes to mind, every single thing that I need to do. And it literally says it right here. And by the way, I have changed my goal. I have fucking changed my goal. My goal is no longer, and I actually forget about the word goal, my standard. And this is what I put. I changed the verbiage right here, right here. On October 1st, yeah, that's about, I don't know, 110 days away, 100 days away. On October 1st, 2022, I will be making $1 million per month, period. Okay. That's it. Okay. I'm just doing it. Okay. So what I did, you guys remember that video we watched, Exhausted But Satisfied? We talked about, mapping it out. I had to go in, I had to create a new map. Because guess what? I'm not waiting until the end of the year. I'm not going to leave this up to chance. I'm going to hit $1 million a month by October 1st, and I will never go below it. And I'm not just going to hit it once, by the way. I'm not writing in here like, by the way, what I've written in here, just so you guys know, is people that I know that are making $1 million a month and how I can get around them. Jobs and tasks I need handled in my business to be able to not only get to $1 million a month, but to sustain. Because I ain't doing the bullshit I did last year in 2021 when I hit 24K and I didn't think about my processes and my systems and my employees, and I hit the 24K and I lost some clients. I ain't doing that. I'm not only thinking about how I'm going to hit it, but I'm thinking about how I'm gonna support it and how I'm gonna sustain it. I'm not just hitting it. I'm not just touching it and going back down. I'm touching it and I'm never going back. Like my standard is going to be $1 million a month. Okay. Content I need to create to hit that. Roles I need to fill, people I need to hire. I'm now thinking about this as a standard. It ain't a goal anymore. Because when it's a goal, we hit it once and we're like, oh, I hit it. No. Guys, I've changed that. It is now October 1st. I'm doing $1 million a month forever. That's it. That's the new standard. And guys, what's crazy about it is if you guys, when we have standards, if we don't do those things that are our standards, we can't, like, until we do them, we can't even breathe. We cannot, like, some of you guys are like me, you're gym rats, right? You go to the gym. Guys, the days I don't go to the gym and I miss the gym, I'll tell you a good example. Last weekend, my wife was out of town. Thursday, I had this, okay, so Wednesday I went to Vegas. Crazy ass story. I'll share it for later. Bought a Rolex with cash. It was whatever. It was kind of a sketch. I need to share that story, so I don't want to give all of it away. Drove to Vegas, came back, got home at 5:30 in the morning. Okay. And I had shit to do. And this is my priority. Getting this stuff done, taking care of the group, doing deals, making money. That's priority number one. That goes in front of fitness for me. Okay. That I got to make money. I'll choose the money over the fitness every day of the week. I'll choose the money over the golf. I'll choose the money over everything because that is my goal. But it got to be, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. And I hadn't been to the gym yet. I hadn't. And I was like, fuck, and I was feeling shitty. I was feeling like, I hadn't eaten well. And guys, I went to the gym I got in there at 8:59 or 9:01 or some shit like that. Cause I work out for an hour and I got there, it closes at 10 and I was the last person to leave. And I got that hour in because it's a standard. And when we have standards, it's just who we are and things aren't right. Like think about it as eating, guys. I know this is a really simple example, but when you haven't eaten, you find a way to eat. You always find a way to eat. People that are homeless, they find a way to eat because they have to eat. It's a standard. They have to eat, right? Why don't we do this with our goals? Our goals. Why don't we fuck the goals and create the standards? That's the question I have for you guys. It can be rhetorical or not, but why aren't we doing that? Guys, we have such a powerful machine here inside of this freaking ugly noggin that we have, this massive ass skull with all the stuff floating around. Like we literally have this machine in here. And dude, it does some crazy shit, man. Why? Like we talked about a couple of weeks ago when I had Ashley on, I said, Ashley, could you hit $10,000 this month if I had a gun to your mom's head and I was going to pull the trigger if you didn't? She said, yes. Right? Your mind starts to think, why are we not tapping into these things? What is stopping us from, instead of saying, hey, I'm going to do 50K, Elvis, I'm calling you out, bro. Instead of saying, hey, I want to do 50K. What if that was your standard? What if until you hit 50K, you couldn't breathe, bro? What if until you hit 50K, your shit was fucked? What if your mind was like, you're like, dude, because think about it, guys, there's a certain threshold that we have, this certain standard. And if we go below it, we're scrambling, man. We're doing everything that we can in our power to make sure that we're back to that level. So why don't we just do this with our goals? Why don't we say, fuck the goals and create the standards? Why? Okay. I want you to think about that. So question I want to ask you guys rhetorically is, how do we raise our standards? Like tactically speaking, how, and by the way, I've got a few more things I want to share. And then I want to give a little bit of time if people have questions, because I do know there's a few questions that people have asked that haven't been answered. So if you do have questions, queue them up. Give me just a second. I want to finish out my thoughts though. Okay. How do we raise our standards? How do we raise our standards? And I'm sure there's multiple answers to this question, but in my experience, okay, little old me, in my experience, the number one way that we can raise our standards is by getting around people playing at a completely different level. Okay, I want to repeat that. The number one way we can raise our standards that I have found is by getting around, surrounding ourselves with people that are playing at a completely different level. And guys, gals, I don't care. Sorry, if you're offended by that, I'm sorry. Everyone. Okay. It doesn't need to be physically. Okay. Doesn't mean you're physically around these people all the time, because guess what? They got shit to do too. But I'm talking about virtually. Who are you listening to? Right? You're listening to people that have a scarcity mindset. Are you listening to people that are not people that you would trade places with, right? If you don't have friends that you know personally, that you can go golf with, or you can do this or that with, that's okay. Get around them virtually, read their books. You want to know what I did last night? I literally opened a book from, the book I've been talking about, Steven Schwartzman. He's worth $33 billion. And then for $20, I bought that book, and I'm literally able to get inside his head in the way he thinks. And I'm telling you right now, he thinks at a completely different level than any of us. I'll tell you that right now. Okay. So the number one way I've found that we can raise our standards is getting around people virtually, physically, in any way that we possibly can, that are playing at a completely different level, and the level that we want to play at. Okay. And I'm going to tell you what happens when you start to do this. And I know I talk about this concept a lot, but guys, it is so crazy how I'm seeing this happen in my own life. And I've heard it from other people, and it sounds like bullshit. And it's like, just sounds so stupid. And it's like, oh my gosh, they're talking about this again. But when you like actually implement this in your life and you see what it does, you guys will get excited and stoked, and you'll want to share it too. Okay. But I'm going to tell you what this does. When you start getting around people, even if you're just listening, guys, I was listening to Ed Milet, right? I was listening to Ed Milet, and it clicked for me. I'm not friends with Ed Milet. To be honest, I can't even listen to his show most of the times because he's too, I'm not a huge Ed Milet fan, but just listening to his mindset, it was that one thing. That's why we're even having this conversation. That's why I have this notebook. That's why I have now set a standard. It's like, that is a standard now, not a goal. I'm tweaking my shit from being goals to standards. That is a standard, period. Okay. That's it. But when you start getting around these people, it changes everything. Okay. It changes, excuse me. It changes the conversations you have. It changes the things that you do. It changes the places that you go. And it changes the scale at which you think. You start getting around these people regularly, in your ear, listening to their books, going golf, like maybe it is physically, in person. You start getting around them, it is going to fucking change you. Okay. It will. I'm telling you right now. So what it's going to do, and this is the scary part, and I think this is why a lot of people, they don't want to do it, is when you start getting around people like that, it's going to expose your ass. Okay. It will expose you. You think you're balling right now, making 10K a month, think you're hooping, making 30K a month. Go get around somebody that's making a couple $1 million a month. Okay. A couple $1 million. And then go get around someone that's making $10 million a month. And then there's people that's chicken shit. Okay. It will mess with your head if you're not ready, but it's it's in a good way. Like, it will expose you. You think you're killing it. You get around those people, you're like, dude, I ain't killing it. I ain't killing it at all. So I want to share two examples really quick. Okay. Number one, and I talk about him all the time. It's my buddy, Tyler. This guy, the cool part about this is I didn't hit Tyler up because he was making a ton of money. He wasn't making this kind of money when we've been friends for 5 years. Okay. And I have made it a point. I'm like, dude, when I wrote in here, who are the people making $1 million a month? He's one of them. Okay. He's one of them. And I've made it a point that I spend time, if at all possible, at least every week around him, whether we're playing golf, whether we're getting lunch, whether we're doing whatever. And it has literally changed me, because when I go golfing with him, it's like, hey, for me, I'm all pumped. I'm like, dude, I bought a Rolex, blah, blah, blah. It's like, cool. That's little shit, man. I'm building a 13, and he doesn't say this, but I'm just like, the way I view it, he's like, he's literally building a 13,000 square foot second home cabin. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. How much is that? It's like 5 million. Okay, awesome. That's interesting, right? Drives, he traded in the Lambo, decided to get a Porsche 911. I'm like, okay, Tesla's cool. Kind of a small fish, and it's just crazy, because like, it's forced me to just think bigger. It's forced me to level my shit up. For the following reasons. You want to hang out with these people, you gotta be able to fuck, man. And I don't mean that in like a sexual way. I'm talking about, like, you got to be able to level your shit up. Okay. What I mean by that is, for example, in a couple weeks, his birthday's happening, and he's like, bro, let's go to Vegas. Let's go to Vegas. And I'm like, cool, let's do it. Boys trip, no wives, could get dangerous. Maybe somebody needs to monitor that, but we'll see. So I'm like, cool, sounds good. Just like, that sounds like a good time. So he calls me, he's like, all right, we're set. I'm like, okay, what's the itinerary? And he's like, all right, so we're going down. and we're leaving at this time, whatever. And we're playing 18 holes at this course. I'm like, cool. And then he's like, then we're going to stay at this hotel. I'm like, okay, that's a cool hotel. And then the next day is like, we're waking up and we are playing 18 at some, whatever. I can't remember what it's even called. Actually, the first day is the Win. And I'm like, cool. He's like, yeah, I hope it's cool. He's like, the round it's like $750 for 18. I'm like, oh yeah, that's interesting. I'm like, I'm in, bro, let's go. And then we're staying in another hotel. And then the next day it's going to be a $600 round. And I know that's like very like whatever, it's very material, but it's just an example of like every time I do things with him, I'm like, dude, I gotta be ready. Cause I don't want to be in a position where I'm like, bro, like that sounds so fun, but dude, I don't want to spend that money. I don't want to be that guy. I want to be able to go do those things. I want to be able to do that so I can be around those type of people that are thinking on that scale. Okay. So that's number one. Number two is I was listening to this Ed Mylett speech, and this will take 30 seconds. Okay. I'm listening to this Ed Mylett speech and he's going off. He's on stage, he's going off and he's talking. He's like, look, guys, and this is how he phrases it. He's like, look, you think you're killing it because you're making 100K. And he's just like, and he's talking to a group of door-to-door salesmen, by the way. I can share the link. Some of you guys have done door-to-door. Marcus, Dave, you guys will appreciate this. He's talking to a group of door-to-door salesmen. He's like, think you guys are killing it? You guys are cool. He's like, I've seen a lot of cool guys come and go broke in a couple of years, okay? Because they wanted to be cool. He's like, you think you're cool because you're making 100K? And they didn't even say 100K. He's like, you think you're cool because you're making 500K or your little $1 million? He's like, no offense, but that wouldn't even cover my jet fuel. And I'm like, oh shit, dude. I'm over here like, yo, I made $1 million. That's so cool. I made $1 million doing lead gen in 2020, made 1.5 last year. I'm killing it. Dude, it's levels, man. It's levels. And the game is, how do we get around these people? How do we become the people that they want to be around? So here's the deal is I want you guys to stop thinking of these targets. I don't even want to use the word goals. Fuck goals. Okay. These targets that you have, stop making them targets, start making them standards. Okay. That's what I want you to do. I want it to become a standard. Guys, if Ed Mylett looked at my current situation right now, I guarantee he'd go, what in the fuck? Why am I in this teeny ass house with this little piece of shit pool? And like, where's the supercar? And like, he'll look at my bank account and be like, why is there not 9 figures in here? Right? That's how he would look at it because that's his standard. And the problem is he has higher standards than me right now. That's it. That's the only difference. So the challenge I have for you guys is take those goals. Okay. Those goals that we set and turn them into standards. And if not, maybe they're never that important to you anyway, or maybe they're not big enough. But if that doesn't excite you to make that a standard, like imagine what that would be like if it was your standard. Imagine what it would be like. I know some of you guys have a goal of 20K. Some of you guys have a goal of 50K. Some of you guys have a goal of 100K. Jerry Ward talking to you, bro. What if you stop talking about it and stop saying, I'm going to hit it. I'm going to hit it. It's going to be a goal. And you fucking said, this is my standard. If I don't hit 100K, if I'm not doing 100K, something is fundamentally wrong. Like I'm drug dealer status. I'm junkie status going for money until I get to 100K. If that was your standard, that's how I am with 100K. Okay. Why don't I just do that with $1 million? Okay. Remember what we talked about a couple weeks ago, guys? Why not? Why fucking not? Okay. So here's the deal. Distance yourself, turn off, stop paying attention to people that are playing at a small level. Okay. And that goes for the live streams that you guys are tuning into. Those people aren't making jack shit for money. Okay. Number one, the podcast you guys listen to, that's a bunch of garbage. The friends that you guys are hanging out with, all those things. Okay. Stop. If you want to change your standards, change the people that you're around. That is the quickest way that I have found in my experience to go from, hey, I'm happy, man. I'm doing 100K a month to, all right, I'm not doing dog shit because my buddy is no different than me. And he is doing $2 million per month. So stop making goals, start making standards. All right, guys, I wanted to cut that short so we could have a little bit of time for Q&A. If anybody has any questions, any comments, anything they want to add, I want to open this up. I don't do this very often. Last time we did a little Q&A. It actually was, they were really, really good questions. And I did enjoy it more than I thought I would, because I hate typically the Q&As in groups. They're a waste of time. So if you have a question, I want you to ask it. Now, if it's some dumbass question, don't ask it. But if it's something that you don't understand, if it's specific to your situation, if it's specific to your deal, if it's specific to anything, I want to know about it. Okay. But I'm gonna turn it open for a second. If the questions stall, I'm gonna end this shit. Okay. So if anyone has any, now's the time to ask. I'm gonna take a slurp of the old Maui mango with Diet Mountain Dew. Oh, baby. Okay. I didn't say I wasn't doing Mountain Dew. I just got off energy drinks. Okay. Great distinction. And I still feel amazing. All right, let's go through this. Ramez, what's the name of the book again? It's called What It Takes. It's by Steven Schwartzman. He owns Blackstone. He's worth $33 billion. Freaking G, man. Go read that. Change your mindset. Like as I told you guys, favorite thing to do is to read business biographies about billionaires and about rich people that are unconventional and unorthodox. Those are my two freaking favorite things to do as far as studying. Okay. Not big on the bullshit business books from people that have made $1 million once. I want to know what the billionaires think. That's the shit I want to know. Okay. That's what I want to play at. Okay. All right. Oh, Zach, how did you delegate work once you started getting overwhelmed in the beginning of your business? Who was the person that you grabbed at? Did you have any partners? Did you get grants or startup capital? So great question, Zach. And this is the stuff that I love. Like, these are the kind of quality questions. I love these kind of questions because, great question, by the way, because, and this is what's cool, is we've seen this group, like we've seen it just kind of like transform, because these are questions, Zach, I got to give you a shout out, bro. 6 months ago, that wasn't your question. Your question was like, dude, how do I get a deal? How do I get my first deal? And you've gotten deals. And now you're like, shit, how do I handle this? That is awesome. That makes me freaking so happy, because dude, you're leveling your shit up and you're playing this for real. So dude, thank you for asking that question. And thanks for kicking ass, dude. So let's dive into this. How do you delegate one? So here's, again, let's go back to John Jonas. Remember him? The guy that we interviewed, he owns onlinejobs.ph. He said, and I agree with him, don't outsource anything, or don't delegate anything, or don't task something off until you have first mastered it. Okay. So here's what I did, Zach. I'm going to tell you what I did. Now, if this works for you, if this resonates with you, awesome. I'm not saying this is the only way to do it. This is what I did. I got in and I was doing everything myself. I was writing the content, guys, on Labor Day of the year that I was in 2017, Labor Day. Remember that year when my wife's like, yo, you got $3,000, you're going to get a job. And I was like, no, I'm not. And I pulled the program off the shelf and I started doing SEO and I made $3,000 in a couple of days. Yep. That was the end of July. Next month, I made 10K. And guess what? I remember on Labor Day, I was at my mom's house, parade. I woke my ass up at 4 a.m. and I wrote 3,000 words of content myself before I went to the parade. And I remember posting on Instagram or something and being like, what a way to spend Labor Day, man. It's not by taking the day off, it's by working. Okay. So I did everything in the beginning. I was doing all of it, like the books, the content, the site building, talking to clients, passing the leads, all of it. Right. That's fine. And that's probably where you're at. Here's what I did. I looked at the things that I had mastered, number one. And I've said this in my YouTube videos. I didn't know that was what you're supposed to do. I just luckily did it. Okay. John said, you master it, then you outsource it. The things that take the most time, make sure you master them first, then get them off your plate. I did that without I think it was on accident, to be honest. Like I can't take credit for that. So what I did is, the first thing is like, dude, this content thing is kicking my ass. I'm spending hours and hours and hours on content. So what did I do? I was good at it. I'd done 30 sites of content, like no shit, 10,000 words a site. I'd done a lot of content. I knew how to write it. I knew how to do keyword lists, all that. So I went and I found a content writer and I trained them. And the mistake I made is I didn't make training videos so that when that person quit, I could put another person in place. I was a dumbass and I trained them one-on-one and took all the time. And then the next person, I did the same thing. And it wasn't until about 3 content writers in, I know I'm an idiot, I started realizing, I should just make some videos and I don't have to worry about it. Okay. So I went and I got rid of my content piece first. Okay. And that was a huge relief. Next thing I did is I went and now again, this is, if you're ready to play big and you're planning on playing big, which I was, you can do this. I wanted somebody that could eventually handle all the shit that I was doing. I just wanted to do sales. My dream day was waking up, getting credit cards, doing deals, basically what I'm doing now, which is freaking awesome to even be able to say that, like, it is what I'm doing right now. So what I did is like, I got to find somebody that's competent. I wanted somebody that I could meet with in person. And these don't have to be your things. This was my thing. I want somebody that's hungry. I want somebody that's like, just kicks ass, all these different things. And so what did I do? I went on and I went to LinkedIn and I started looking at the other marketing companies in town. And I started typing, there's only a few. And me and Mahmoud have talked about this. I started looking at marketing companies and I started looking at their interns, right? And that's how I found Francesca, because I found her. Now, specifically, this is kind of a funny story. The reason I chose Francesca is because I had this dumbass that worked for me a couple months prior. And he was one of those guys, like he closed 2 deals in the whole time he worked for me. But he closed one after closing deal. He was like, bro, when are we going to go snort some lines? Like he thought he was living in Wolf of Wall Street. I'm like, motherfucker, you got to learn how to close some deals first before you pretend that you're Jordan Belfort. Like he was one of those guys. So one day he comes to me and he's like, bro, we should hire this chick. We should hire this chick. This is when he's still there, way before I knew who this chick was, who Francesca was. He shows me this picture of this girl and he doesn't tell me this is a fucking screenshot of an Instagram photo. I thought that like they were homies, right? So I'm like, oh, cool. And he, of course, he's like the single whatever dude and he doesn't give a shit. He just wants her to be in the office because he thinks she's hot, right? Well, couple months later, this guy tries to snake one of my clients. No shit. And my client calls me. He's like, Nick, just so you know, so-and-so, he called me, told me to cancel with you. He's starting his own thing. So needless to say, I fired his ass. It actually wasn't as bad as it sounds. We separated ways, right? And so then a couple months after that, when I was looking for somebody, I started doing the LinkedIn search and I was like, oh, dude, that's going to be good. I'm going to hire that chick and I'm going to make sure that motherfucker sees that I hired her because he doesn't work here anymore. So just so you know, that was a big part of the reason that I targeted her, but she has been awesome. Started as an intern, making $14 an hour. She came in, met with me. She told me no, said she was going to stay at her other thing. And I was like, no, you don't get it. You don't understand who you're talking to. Let's come back and meet with me. And I give her shit about this all the time. She told me no, guys. People can tell you no and still tell you yes. She told me no. And I was like, no, yeah, I don't think you heard me correctly. Let's meet again. She met me again and we got her locked down. She's been with me since. She gets paid well, but she does way more than she gets paid for. Okay. And that's the type of person that you need. She started at $14 an hour and she's, doing whatever part-time, then full-time. And then I've been giving her raises and she runs the entire company. So if you want to do this big, I think that would be a crucial and awesome position to hire. It is going to cost some money. I don't know what $14 an hour times 160 is, but I paid her a couple grand a month, but I trained her to do everything. And now she does everything from managing my VAs, managing content, managing our VAs, doing websites, talking to clients, collecting credit card. All I do when I do it is I get on the phone with business owners and close deals. And that is literally my dream scenario. So if you're okay with always doing that shit and you kind of like it, you don't need a Francesca, and you could probably hire a Francesca that's remote. You could probably hire a Francesca that's not in the US or in your country. You could probably find some badass VA. For me, I wanted to be able to meet with them in person, see them in person, know that shit was getting done and know that work was getting done, because I was just distrusting at that point, and it's worked out really, really well. So Zach, that is a long ass answer to answer your question, which is the things that you've mastered that are taking a shitload of your time, those where you need to outsource those first. And then I think at some point getting a project manager so that you can push everything over to them and you focus on sales is the next best step, personally. All right, let's see what else we got here. Okay, let's see. Bruce was on. What's up, Bruce? Juan, what's up, dog? Shannon gave me a little champagne, one of my favorite songs, freaking Lil Wayne, Pop Bottles with Birdman. Congrats, man. That's actually incredible. I can't actually remember what we're talking about, Dave. Just sorry about that. Let's see. What's up, FFM team? Pat says, okay, sorry. Andrew says, good work, man. Hard shit to lose. The monsters just love unleashing the beast. I totally get it, dude. And again, it's not about the monsters. It's about what are the vices that, like, for me, it was literally a thing where like I would leave work because I was like, I got to get my monster. I got to get my fix. And I was like, I don't want to be like that. And if I ever feel like I'm addicted to something, I'll cut that shit out for a couple months. And then I'll be like, okay, I proved to myself that is not controlling me because I know how I am and I can go all in on shit. So that's just me. Okay. It's been a great decision. Doesn't mean you need to do it. Doesn't mean that's your vice. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Patrick says, this shit is fire. I need to raise my standards. It's true, man. Like, and by the way, the cool part about you is I read your comment the other day. You've made more money in business. This is the best year you've ever had in business, right? And to your friends and to other people, you're like, dude, you're kicking ass. You're the guy, man. Pat's killing it. Patrick's killing it. He's crushing it, dude. He's making like 20K a month. Guys, get around people that are doing some big shit and you'll realize 20K ain't dick. That's nothing. You can't do anything with 20K. You can't. Not when these Rolexes are costing 20K a pop, man. Shit. I'm just kidding. All right. What do we got here? Mahmoud says he started reading Schwartz's bio. Yeah, dude, that's a phenomenal book. That guy is fascinating. Soft-spoken, dope, though. Okay, Adam says, where's the best place to find a setter? What's the most effective way to utilize them? I don't think you need to overthink this. I will tell you, I got lucky because Mr. Lincoln Hunt, who's actually in this group, kicking ass on his own, we had a deal and he crushed it for me, but I just knew that he knew how to sell and I could teach him. But I have also, my best luck has been not through Indeed, not through any of this. It's been by asking people that I know, of who they know that's just like that go get them, like kick ass, thick skin personality, because you need that. And I will tell you, the last setter that I hired, who is no longer with me, by the way, just so everybody knows, it was partly my fault, but also there was some weird shit that like she wanted to wear yoga pants every day, and I'm like, that's not gonna work. But dude, this chick kicked ass. Like it really bummed me out. Like she kicked ass, and she was a like office manager / secretary at an accounting firm, 0 sales experience. But through Francesca's like, hey, I have this friend and she says she wants to do sales. Like we've talked at dinner over some drinks and she's talked about sales. Like, I think we should talk to her. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's talk to her. No sales experience. But when I talked to her, I just knew, I don't know how, I just knew she would do well, even though she didn't have the experience. She just had that personality. Like she didn't give a shit. She's not like a robot. Like she's a person. But I could also tell she like just didn't give a shit what people thought. And so I was like, I could train this girl. And you guys have seen my training that I've done in the free group. It's called like 44 minutes of gold or whatever. And that's all the training that I've done with her. Like, and she went out and set like some like 8, 10, 12, I can't even remember, some crazy amount of appointments the first week. So guys, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Find somebody. I would say go for somebody that like has a reference and that like just has the personality traits. You can just tell. Like Lincoln, I'll give a shout out to Lincoln. Lincoln's one of those dudes, like he will just keep showing up. Doesn't matter if he gets the door slammed in his face 100 times in a row. That bastard, he's going to keep knocking the door. He is. And I knew that about him because I'd worked with him and I also trusted him. And so it worked really, really well. And I feel like we had a good relationship. And even when he started his own business, that was the arrangement in the beginning. We clearly maintained somewhat of a relationship because he's now in this group. So anyway, Lincoln, dude, that was dope. So go find yourself a Lincoln. Go find yourself a Lincoln. Go find yourself a Keeley. She did awesome. I got nothing bad to say about that. But don't overthink it. Go look for a reference of somebody that you know can work hard. Because if somebody can work hard and put in the reps, you can teach them how to set. This is not hard. You give them the script, you give them the list, you teach them a basic ass pitch, and they will make it work. That's it. All they need to do is find warm bodies. That's it. You're going to come in and you're going to vet through those. Okay. Because there's a lot of those appointments she set, and I was like, yeah, this person's not good. And we started training on that. But I would say my best luck has come through people that I knew, or that people I knew. Okay. Okay, Bruce, newbie question. What is a setter's actual job? Are they the one to do the prospecting for you? It depends. I mean, it's up to you. That's the cool part. Alex Hormozy said it. There are no rules. You could do, it could be whatever you want. My setters have done this. I know Lincoln did a little bit more because he knew more about the business, but with Keely, the girl that I hired in the beginning of 2021, so about a year ago, maybe a little bit further than that, what I was having her do is I would have my VA do the due diligence. I would look at it. Okay. I'm outsourcing this shit. Then we would send it to the other VA that would do the list. Then he would send it to Keely. She would take the list and she would call the list and hook the business owner. And she would let them know at the end of the call, hey, we're going to get you a couple leads. And she would either say my boss or my colleague or my partner, whatever. She said some verbiage. He's going to be calling you. His name is Nick. By the way, he has an 854 area code. It's kind of a weird, whatever, long story, but if he calls, watch for it. And I would call all of them. So she'd be like, hey, just set an appointment, just set an appointment, set an appointment. And I would take an hour every day and I'd start calling these guys back and I'd be like, hey, you talked to Keely, and they'd go, oh, and whatever, hang up. Or, oh yeah, man, what do you got? And like, she didn't really totally explain it, but I'm interested. And it was just like a warm look that I could go in and I could give the actual pitch. So I started over. I kind of told them like, look, I got a couple jobs I can give you right now. I got a bunch coming in. I don't do tree work. Can we talk? And I would go through and make sure they were legit. So that's what I had her do. I know when Lincoln was working with me, he would hook them and he would send the leads and he would tee them up and I would literally jump on the call and close the deal. But Lincoln is a different story. He's expensive too. Shit, man. Wish I had all that money I paid Lincoln. Just kidding, bro. All right. Zach says, would you call them back before you had leads? Yes. So once you guys get a setter, or even now, if you guys are confident in this process and you know you found a good, city and niche combo, what I had her start doing is I was like, hey, just so you know, I've done the due diligence. We're building the list, or we would build the list. And I'm like, hey, before we go and set up a one-page or spend money on ads, I'm like, can you go just call through the list and see if we can get somebody that's interested? And so she started doing that. She'd start calling and be like, hey, we have leads coming in. As soon as we get our next lead, we'll send it over. That's how we positioned it, right? Or we don't say leads. We have jobs coming in. And she was setting appointments or setting hooks with not having a single lead. Okay. Now, just because I know somebody's going to ask, how did I structure the pay? The way I structured this one, and I structured this with Lincoln too, but you have to be able to close. With Lincoln, we had a mutual understanding. He's like, dude, if I get somebody on the phone with Nick, he's going to close the deal. Like they're not getting out of the deal, like period. He's too good at this. So I was able to tell Lincoln, hey, I'm going to give you X% on every close. Okay. Because he knew I was going to close the deal. Like if he got them to, like, it was just in my best interest to get the deal and I know how to close. So I was able to pay him a percentage of what the deal closed at for the whole contract. So if he closed the deal at 6 months for $1,000, we take the total contract value, $6,000. I think I gave him, I can't even remember what the percentage was. I gave him a nice percentage and boom, paid in the percentage. Now you can also do hybrids where it's like a percentage. I wish what we had done is partial upfront and a monthly ongoing for him to keep staying in touch with the contact or with the client. I probably still have him today. And, he would have probably thought twice about some of the deals. Maybe he did that. It's like, this one might not stick with us forever. You want to make sure they have skin in the game, but I paid based on percentage of deals that I closed. And I did the same thing with Keely, but I know how to close. So in the beginning, you might have to pay them per person that shows up on the Zoom call, and then it's on you. Or you might have to pay them, whatever the case is. I just want to make sure that I'm paying them on performance, whatever that performance is. Okay. Lincoln, yeah, bro. Good times, man. That was it, dude. The cool part is Lincoln was part of when we were like developing this process. Like we were just in the beginning stages. We were trying shit out. COVID had happened. Like I was nervous. He was nervous. He had just started working for me. It was fun. We were just trying stuff out. And I remember getting that first deal in Asheville Concrete. I'm almost 100% sure Lincoln was the one that set the deal. And I got on, and as the story goes, I came up here. I was like, I'm never going to get this deal. Got it. And the rest is history, man. So it's been a fun ride. So guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I do want to choose the winner for the coaching call, but thank you guys for being on. Again, the cool, like, I just love, like, I got to thank you guys because some of you guys might be thinking, man, that probably sucks. He has to come on and do these every single week. That's getting tired. Guys, I freaking love this shit, man. Like, I love it. And I love it for a lot of reasons. But one of the reasons I love it is because I've been thinking about these thoughts. I've been thinking about this standards thing, this $1 million a month standard for a week. And now I've got to be able to like, okay, how can I transfer these thoughts and this energy that I have towards this and this passion I have towards this topic to you guys? And as I'm doing that, it brings clarity to my own shit. So don't feel bad for me. I love this. This is like my favorite thing. Like, these calls are dope. So thank you guys for being on. I'll always make sure that we're bringing the heat, but guys, do something about today's call. Okay. Do something about today's call. Stop setting goals. Fuck your goals. Okay. Start making them standards. Start making them standards today. What do you have to do? Okay. As I wrap up, what do you have to do to make it a standard? Who do you have to hire to make it a standard? If your goal is to make 50K, Elvis, I'm talking to you, bro. What do you have to do? What do you have to stop doing? What do you have to stop doing? First of all, what do you need to start doing? Okay. You got to pick up the fucking phone. Okay. Who do you need to hire? What roles do you need filled? What content do you need to push out? How many campaigns? Like, what does that look like if it was a standard? If it was a standard, not a goal, what would it look like? And that's what I'm going through doing. And it's been freaking very exhausting, but it's been extremely like fun. And who are the people you know that are at those goals right now? How do you get around them? How can you add value to their life? Those are all the things, guys. I am going to, let me say this for anyone that missed the first part. I'm going to read this straight from the damn thing. On October 1st, 2020, October 1st, 2022, that gives me the rest of June, and that gives me July, August, and September. It gives me just over 3 months. I will be making $1 million per month. And I ain't going back. I ain't just going to touch it and come back down. I'm going to touch it, and we're going to just keep blazing right through. It's going to become the standard. And that's important to make that distinction. I don't just want you guys to hit 50K and then the next month you go down to 40 or to 30 or to 20. I want you guys to hit 50, and that's the standard. I don't ever want you guys I want you to raise your thermostat that is now your standard, and you're never going back. Because I'm telling you, when you make 100K a month and you're all of a sudden you're like, shit, I'm making $1 million a year. It changes you, man. It will change everything. The way you look at shit, the way that you talk, the way that you dress, everything, the way that you carry yourself, it changes everything. I just got to get you there. Okay. So, and those of you that haven't gotten your first deal, the first step to hitting these freaking big ass targets, these standards, is we got to get your first deal. And your standard needs to become, I get a deal a month, period. I get a deal a month. And those of you that get a deal a month, it needs to become, I get a deal a week. That's the standard, period. I get a deal every single week or I can't breathe. Okay. All right. Let's choose somebody. And by the way, I have found, whoa. Who's that beautiful voice? Just kidding. By the way, what I have found as I select the winner here, message me. Okay. Message me and let's get this shit on the calendar today. I've done a terrible job. Like, apologize to, Shannon. We were supposed to talk last week and we were like, let's talk whatever. I want to nail down a time today so that we can talk on Friday at the latest, and it's on the calendar. So you follow up with me and be like, bro, answer your damn phone, whatever you got to do. Let's make it happen. Okay. But I'm going to keep doing these. This is the number one thing. This is the most valuable thing I can give you is my time. And I want to show you guys that this like, I'm all in on this shit. Okay. I won't even sell this. I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday. They said, why don't you just offer a coaching call for $1,000 an hour or $5,000 an hour, some crazy shit like that. Somebody will do it. I'm like, because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I don't want to sell my time. I will never sell my time again. Okay. And I am giving it away, ironically. So I want you guys to know, like, this is not just some random ass thing. This is the most expensive thing I could offer, not the cheapest. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's see what we got. Hold on 1 second here. All right, ready? Got it. You know the rules. I'm going to do one swipe. Winner takes the 30-minute call. If you're not on, I'm moving on to the next person. You got 15 seconds to give me a thing that says you're on. Here we go. Ready, set, boom. Andrew Nichols, I've seen your ass on the last 3 weeks. That is well deserved. Andrew Nichols, I am pretty sure, unless you just got off, you are on. Let me know if you're on, because maybe you just barely missed the cut. Seen you. Oh, there he is. Dude, that was amazing. Andrew, message me and let's freaking go, dude. I'm gonna be all ears. Message me. We'll nail down a time Friday. Let's do this, guys. Quit making goals. Fuck your goals. Make them your standards. I'm out.